The battlefield was apocalyptic. Avengers, battered and bruised, fought Thanos' minions. Hope seemed lost. Suddenly, a shimmering portal like a Canadian disco ball materialized. Out tumbled Deadpool in a glorious spandex-clad heap. "Did somebody order a chimichanga with a side of ass-kicking?" he quipped, katanas drawn. The Avengers, momentarily stunned, stared. Even Thanos seemed taken aback. This was not in their carefully crafted battle plans. Deadpool, oblivious to the bewildered stares, struck a few more poses. "Come on, guys, a little enthusiasm. It's not every day you get a visit from Canada's finest, eh?" The Avengers, used to stoic warriors and gods, were bewildered. Captain America, ever the soldier, was the first to recover. "Who is this?" he asked, frowning at the new arrival. Thor, still reeling from a Thanos-inflicted injury, just grunted. Black Widow, ever practical, aimed her pistols at Deadpool. "Friend or foe?" she demanded. "Whoa, easy there, Natasha!" Deadpool exclaimed, breaking the fourth wall with a wink. "You're talking to the guy who brings the chimichangas to the post-apocalypse party." The Avengers exchanged uneasy glances. This was not going as planned. They were used to fighting gods and monsters, not this, whatever this was. Deadpool, ignoring the tense atmosphere, bounced over to Captain America. "Hey, Capsicle, love the shield. Is it vibranium? Because you know my swords are kind of vibranium-y too." He demonstrated by clanging them together, sparks flying. Captain America, a man of few words and even fewer jokes, was not amused. "We're in the middle of a battle," he growled, deflecting a stray energy blast. Undeterred, Deadpool whipped out a star-spangled hand grenade. "Catch!" he yelled, tossing it to Captain America. The grenade, painted with a smiley face, exploded in a shower of harmless confetti. "Surprise!" Deadpool yelled, laughing hysterically. Captain America, covered in red, white, and blue confetti, was not impressed. His expression could curdle milk. Deadpool, wiping away tears of mirth, patted him on the back. "Lighten up, old man. A little laughter is good for the soul." Next, Deadpool skipped over to Thor, who was nursing a wounded arm. "Hey, Point Break!" Deadpool chirped, examining Thor's hammer. "Nice hammer. Is it real? Because I know a guy who can make a replica that looks exactly like that, except it's a bottle opener." Thor, still dazed from the battle, looked at Deadpool as if he were speaking a foreign language. "Who are you, strange creature?" he rumbled. "The name's Deadpool, god of tacos and fourth wall breaking," he announced, striking a dramatic pose. "And you, my friend, are in dire need of a makeover. Seriously, that beard? It's so last Asgard." Thor, for once, was speechless. He had faced down frost giants and fire demons, but this was something else entirely. He looked at the other Avengers, a plea for help in his eyes. They just shrugged. They were just as confused as he was. Section 5, Iron Man and the Merc with a Mouth. Deadpool, always the social butterfly, flitted over to Iron Man, who was busy blasting Thanos' minions with repulsor rays. The battlefield was chaotic, with explosions and energy blasts lighting up the scene. Amidst the chaos, Deadpool's red and black suit stood out like a sore thumb, but he didn't seem to mind. "Hey, Tin Can! Nice suit! Is it Stark Tech?" Deadpool's voice cut through the noise, his tone dripping with sarcasm and mischief. He had a knack for getting under people's skin, and Iron Man was no exception. "Because I know a guy who can make a replica that looks exactly like that." Deadpool's eyes twinkled with mischief as he continued, his words barely audible over the sounds of battle. "Except it's a hot dog cooker." He pulled out a hot dog from seemingly nowhere, waving it around like it was the most important thing in the world. Iron Man, used to dealing with quirky personalities, just sighed. He had faced gods, aliens, and monsters, but Deadpool was a different kind of challenge altogether. "Look, kid, I'm a little busy right now, okay? Can this wait?" Iron Man's voice was strained, his focus split between the battle and the mercenaries' antics. He said, firing another repulsor blast. The energy beam cut through the air, hitting its target with precision. Deadpool, ignoring him, continued to chatter away. His mouth moved a mile a minute, words tumbling out in a never-ending stream. "You know, we'd make a great team." Deadpool's enthusiasm was infectious, even if his timing was terrible. "You with your fancy gadgets and me with my... Well, I have katanas and guns." He brandished his weapons with a flourish as if to prove his point. "And a whole lot of chimichangas." Deadpool's love for the Mexican dish was legendary, and he never missed an opportunity to bring it up. Iron Man, despite himself, couldn't help but crack a smile. There was something undeniably charming about Deadpool's relentless optimism. This guy was a walking disaster zone, but there was something strangely endearing about him. Iron Man had to admit, Deadpool's antics were a welcome distraction from the grim reality of their situation. "Yeah, maybe another time, kid," Iron Man said, his tone softer now. He appreciated the levity Deadpool brought, even if it was at the worst possible moment. He said, turning back to the battle at hand. The fight was far from over, and he needed to stay focused. But for a moment he allowed himself a small chuckle. Deadpool had a way of making even the darkest situations a little brighter. Maybe, just maybe, this crazy mercenary wouldn't be so bad to have around. Iron Man thought, a hint of amusement in his eyes as he glanced at Deadpool. Section 6. Maximum Effort, Minimum Planning, Deadpool's Battle Plan. This is where things get interesting, folks. Deadpool, finally finished with his introductions, decided it was time to get serious. He had the attention of everyone in the room, and he wasn't about to waste it. "All right, Avengers, assemble!" he shouted, striking a heroic pose. The room buzzed with a mix of excitement and skepticism. The Avengers, despite their reservations, found themselves gathering around him. They knew they needed a plan, and Deadpool, for better or worse, was offering one. They were desperate, and maybe, just maybe, this lunatic had a plan. After all, stranger things had happened. "Here's the plan," Deadpool whispered, leaning in conspiratorially. His eyes sparkled with mischief and a hint of madness. "We're going to distract Thanos with my irresistible charm and good looks while you guys—" He paused dramatically, letting the suspense build. He trailed off, realizing he hadn't actually thought that far ahead. The room fell silent, the weight of his incomplete plan hanging in the air. The Avengers stared at him, their expressions a mixture of hope and horror. Was this really their best option? That's it? Captain America asked, his voice dangerously low. His eyes bore into Deadpool, demanding more. "Hey, I'm working on it," Deadpool protested, throwing his hands up in defense. He wasn't used to this level of scrutiny. Besides, it's not like you guys had a better plan. He pointed an accusatory finger at the group, challenging them to come up with something better. "Well, except for that whole time travel thing. That was pretty cool," he admitted, giving credit where it was due. He paused, a thoughtful look on his face. Maybe, just maybe, he was onto something. "Actually, I have an idea." His eyes lit up with sudden inspiration, and the room leaned in, waiting for what he would say next. Section 7. Did we just become best friends? Deadpool and Thanos. Deadpool, struck by a sudden flash of inspiration, grabbed Captain America's shield and charged headlong towards Thanos. The battlefield was chaotic, with explosions and energy blasts lighting up the sky. Amidst this chaos, Deadpool's bold move stood out like a beacon of madness. "Hey, Grimace!" he yelled, hurling the shield at the Mad Titan. His voice cut through the noise, drawing everyone's attention. The shield spun through the air, a symbol of defiance and audacity. "Catch!" Thanos, caught off guard, deflected the shield with a flick of his wrist. The sheer power in that casual motion was a reminder of his overwhelming strength. He turned to face Deadpool, his eyes narrowed in fury. How dare this insignificant creature challenge him? The audacity was almost amusing if it weren't so infuriating. This insignificant creature dared to interrupt his moment of triumph? Thanos' mind raced, contemplating the best way to crush this annoyance. Deadpool, unfazed, stood before Thanos, a single chimichanga held out in offering. The absurdity of the situation was not lost on anyone watching. "Want a bite?" he asked, his voice surprisingly sincere. It was as if he genuinely believed a snack could bridge the gap between them. "I hear it's good for what ails you." Deadpool's playful expression was a stark contrast to the tension in the air. He seemed to be in his own world, where humor was the ultimate weapon. Thanos stared at the chimichanga, then back at Deadpool. The offer was so unexpected, so out of place, that it momentarily threw him off balance. For a moment, something flickered in his eyes. Was it amusement? The Mad Titan, known for his ruthlessness, was almost entertained by this bizarre gesture. He reached out and took the chimichanga, taking a bite. The taste was surprisingly good, a small pleasure in the midst of chaos. "Not bad," he rumbled, a hint of a smile playing on his lips. It was a rare moment of levity for the Mad Titan, a brief respite from his usual grim demeanor. The Avengers, watching this bizarre exchange, could only stare in disbelief. Their enemy, the one who had caused so much pain and destruction, was sharing a moment with Deadpool. Had Deadpool, the merc with a mouth, just befriended the Mad Titan? The scene was surreal, a testament to Deadpool's unique ability to turn any situation on its head. Section 8. Aftermath, Victory and Veggies. Deadpool's unexpected peace offering had an unforeseen effect. Thanos, touched by the gesture, experienced a change of heart. He abandoned his plan for universal domination, realizing that true power lay in friendship and shared snacks. The Avengers, still reeling from the sudden shift in events, cautiously approached Thanos, who was now engaged in an animated conversation with Deadpool about the merits of various chimichanga fillings. "So," Iron Man began cautiously, "what happens now?" Thanos, his face illuminated by the campfire, smiled. "Now," he said, "we feast. And then my friend Wade and I are going to open that taco stand we talked about." He clapped a surprised Deadpool on the back, nearly crushing him. Turns out even a mad titan needs a hobby, and so the universe was saved, not by epic battles or heroic sacrifices, but by a shared love of chimichangas and the power of unexpected friendships. Section 9. What If? The events of that day became legend. The Avengers, initially skeptical of Deadpool's chaotic presence, eventually warmed up to the Merc with a mouth. They even admitted, albeit grudgingly, that he had saved the day in his own unconventional way. As for Deadpool, he reveled in his newfound status as a hero, even though he never missed an opportunity to remind everyone that it was his love of chimichangas that saved the universe. And so, the legend of Deadpool, the unlikely hero, was passed down through generations of Avengers. A reminder that sometimes even the most unconventional solutions can lead to the most extraordinary outcomes. The end. Or is it?